Who are you afraid of in the NFC? Who's the Eagles' biggest threat to returning to the Super Bowl? These are some of the questions I'm asking myself as we get set to embark on the second half of the season. Trending in the AM, taking your thoughts on this topic and any other topics you want to talk about. Starts live here in 30 seconds.
Fourth and goal.
And a very good morning, everybody, and welcome to Trending in the AM right here on Philadelphia Sports Network. We're live, Facebook, YouTube, you know the drill. Hit that like, share, subscribe button, follow button, wherever it may be. All that helps greatly in the growing of this morning show. All that helps greatly get the word out of the best morning show, Trending in the AM, the only show where your opinions actually matter. I am your host, Phil Stiefel. You can follow me on all social media platforms at Beard and Knowledge, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, wherever you get your social media fixin'. You can find me with that little at there and follow me along there. Hit 4,600 followers on Twitter yesterday. It's a new milestone for me, so thank you very much to everybody that follows along. And we got lots on the agenda today, lots I want to talk about today. Towards the end of the show yesterday, the topic was brought up: who scares me the most in the NFC? Who scares me the most in blocking the Eagles from returning to the Super Bowl in February? And I think it's an interesting question. I think it's a fair question as we come out of the bye week here and as we face this daunted schedule that we have here in the next 4 or 5 weeks. I think it's important for us to look at this and look at the other teams and see where we truly stack up at this moment. So we're going to talk about that a lot today for sure. Also on the agenda, the obvious whatever with Jalen Carter, whether it happened or not, who knows? We'll have a little fun with that, I guess. Yes, we will talk. The Bills suck. Um, saw that one coming a mile away last night. How you lose a game by having a 12 men on the field on a field goal as time expired? That's a fireable offense right there. Not Brian Devil. Sorry, wrong guy. Wrong coach. I think is going to get fired. Sean McDermott. He's got to go in Buffalo. I feel bad for Buffalo. But yeah, you should be livid. Bills are terrible. We need to talk. Yeah, TMC is going to have some problems today. TMC, you are more than welcome to stay on the Eagles bandwagon. You need it. So we're talking Eagles. We could talk Sixers. They got another important matchup tonight against the Pacers and how they stack up. The fact that the Sixers are actually getting respect, like no Philadelphia team gets respect, but yet through 9 games of an NBA season, the Sixers are already getting some respect. I think that's a pretty interesting new turn of events in Philadelphia sports. We're not used to getting respect thrown our way. So we got that to talk about as well. So lots on the agenda. Anything you want to talk about, uh, feel free to comment it. Birds are the only team I have to look forward to. Well, I am glad I got you on board with the Philadelphia Eagles because you started following and watching Trending in the AM every single morning here on Philadelphia Sports Network. I see K1's comment here. Hold on. What's it say? Embiid putting in work. Let's go. That's right. Josh Allen is so not elite. You know, Something I was chatting with a lot of people with on social media yesterday and towards the end of the show yesterday and on all over. It's just how average the NFL is right now. I mean, that yesterday, Denver winning last night puts it at 20 of the 32 teams have either 4, 5, or 6 wins. If that's not, you know, mediocre football, then I don't know what to tell you. The leading passer in the NFL, the guy with the most passing yards, is the same guy with the most amount of times being sacked in Sam Howell. Like the numbers in the NFL this season just make no sense. Like like how below average the overall play is. Teams that have chances at making the playoffs still through 10 weeks, it's insane. The amount of players that are putting up good numbers. with average teams. It's insane. Like, I don't get what happened with the script writers this year, but damn, they have gone off the deep end. But we knew the script writers. We knew the script writers were going to write in a Buffalo Bills loss last night because why not? We knew it. We knew it. Josh Allen gets the quarter billion, dumps high school girls, goes to LA and does not care. Look, Josh Allen, what can you say about him? I mean, he's a guy that I've been questioning, his eliteness for a while now, not being able to win the big games. I don't put him quite to the category of what's his name, Herbert, Justin Herbert out in L.A., but he's come up small. But there's also some room to make excuses for him. I mean, there's room for everybody to make excuses. I mean, that one interception he threw early in the game. I didn't watch the whole game last night, Mad Chatter. Definitely called it an early night last night. Um, but the one interception off Gabe Davis's hands, was that Josh Allen's fault? And actually, this is kind of a bold take. I was going to actually say that interception on Gabe Davis there, or off his hands, was actually Josh Allen's fault. And I'll say it was Josh Allen's fault because he's got to know his receivers, and that kind of interception happens a lot. That certain receivers can't handle those fastball throws over the middle, and he basically threw a ball that he knew Gabe Davis couldn't handle. So maybe it is a little bit on Josh Allen, that interception, because people are making excuses for him again. Yeah, CJ Stroud is the number 2 quarterback. There's another. I was very active on social media yesterday, K1. That's another one I put out there. How many quarterbacks in the NFL would you actually take right now? Not for the next 10 years, just right now, for next week, the next 5 weeks, whatever, other than CJ Stroud. And in my opinion, the list is pretty small. Obviously, Jalen Hurts, you're taking him. You're taking Patty Mahomes. But you can make an argument that you're not taking Josh Allen over CJ Stroud right now. Now, the Texans haven't played too many big time teams. They play in a pretty soft division. But man, just think about it. CJ Stroud's in the top few in passing. Sam Howell is number 1 in passing yards and number 1 in most sacks taken. Like, and they've got what, 4 wins, 5 wins? They're just another average team in the NFL. And with all these average teams comes weird stats. And I think it's just a very, very awkward start to the not start, awkward run in the NFL right now. Panthers were smart to give up 2 seconds to DJ Moore to skip CJ Stroud. Yeah, I think you just copied and pasted this comment from yesterday, Mad Chatter, but it's so true. They definitely they lost a little bit there in that one there. The league is where they want it. Absolute parity except for the Birds. Yeah, what they want, Mad Chatter. It is I get what you're saying here, and it is probably what they want. They want every team in the thick of it. So when I pull up the standings, which I've got on another screen here, you've got teams like Green Bay at 3-6 that are 2 games out of the playoffs, 2.5 games out of the playoffs. You got the Falcons at 4-6, a game and a half out of the playoffs. You got the 13th seeded New York Jet, or the 14th seeded Denver Broncos right now, a game out of the playoffs. So you right now, you could say in the AFC, all the way out of the 16 teams, 15 of them are still in the playoff. I guess you can write off the New England Patriots at 2-8, but the 3-6 Tennessee Titans technically still have a chance in their conference. Like, that's what the NFL wants. They want every team having a chance. But what it also does, it makes that the fact that the Eagles are 8-1 at this point that much more meaningful, that much more special, that they're capable in a league that's trying to have it all even Steven, that one team is able to dominate as much as the Eagles have. And you could say they haven't dominated each game individually. They can say they've made mistakes. They haven't played. You could say all that stuff, but they've still found a way to win 8 of 9 games. It's interesting, and it really does lead to how good the Eagles' season is. Sam Howell leading the NFL in passing yards makes me feel better about giving up so many yards to the Commanders. Yeah, I mean, well, what, like 750 of those yards that he's got were against our defense, Mister. So I will say that a lot of that is definitely on our defense. But we still won those games. So that's all that matters. Peanut, what is up, man? McDermott was great at changing the culture in Buffalo, but he is not a Super Bowl winning coach. It is time to move on from him. Yeah, Buffalo. I said it before that unless Buffalo made the championship game or Super Bowl this year, there is no doubt they could lose in the division round. They still should probably fire him. At this point, the way they're playing, uh, they might miss the play. I mean, there's so much, so many teams that have a chance in the playoffs right now to make the playoffs. That who would be shocked if the Bills didn't even make the playoffs? Right now, they're on the outside sitting in. They're in the 10th slot right now. Top seven make it. I mean, they're only a half a game out, but right now they'd be missing the playoffs. The Texans and Browns and Steelers would all be making the playoffs at this moment. So Buffalo will be moving on from their coach at the end of this year unless there's a miraculous turnaround, in my opinion. Blame it on Pete Roselli. Yeah, we got a lot of people to blame for it. I think that's a good take at Mista. Um, yeah, I think what Mista said is fair, for sure. My thing at beginning of year was Birds easy schedule last year, but Eagles have proven they are a real deal to me. Yeah, I mean, we're going to look at the rest of the Eagles' schedule. We're going to look at the schedule of the teams that they're really competing with for the NFC crown in the playoffs. So you can only beat the guys in front of you. You whether the schedule's easy or not. I think in this kind of an NFL setting where everybody is just average, how much can you really go week to week? Like I was looking at the Cowboys and like the Cowboys put up a 30 burger on the Jets, but the Jets defense is a lot different now than it was in week two. You look at different teams and what they put up against who, at week to week, every team's different. So, you know, the strength of schedule thing to me is kind of like a moot point right now, due to the fact. I mean, you look at the Eagles' schedule. Yeah, they got Kansas City on Monday night. Then they got Buffalo. Is Buffalo as good as we thought? No. So maybe the strength of schedule there isn't as tough. Seattle's got cracks in the armor. Dallas still hasn't beaten a really good team yet. So, you know, some of those problems, like the 49ers we face, and they had a 3-game losing streak. The scary 49ers, the favorite to win the NFC, had a 3-game losing streak. So the strength of schedule argument for or against it, I just kind of feel like at this point this season is not really an argument to be made about it because everyone's just average outside of 2 or 3 teams. I mean, I'll put the Chiefs up there and the Lions. The fact that they only have 2 losses, right there with the Eagles, 1 loss. The fact that there's what? The Chiefs at 7-2, the Lions at 7-2. Maybe you could say the Ravens at 7-3. The fact that there's 2 or 3 teams that are head and shoulders above everybody else right now in that win-loss record in this kind of a league, I think it's interesting. It really is. How also has set 47 more passing attempts. Yeah, there's I do follow Ref the District. They're a great podcast team in DC, and if they've been on this show in the past, and every other post they make during a game is on social media is about run the ball more, but they pass far too much. That Eric Bieniemy passes the ball way too much there in DC. So there is that. He's also played 10 games versus some of the guys below him having played 9. So there's reasons why Sam Howell is number 1 in passing. But the fact that we can say Sam Howell is number 1 in passing, it's shocking, especially considering he's got the most sacks in the NFL. Peanut always has awesome takes. Always, always, always. Cowboys are a pretty good team. The Cowboys are, and we're going to get to my poll here in a second. I ran a poll yesterday. It's still ongoing, the poll, but I ran it yesterday. Who scares us the most in the NFC? And, the Cowboys are actually losing that poll. And I'm really shocked that so many people are against the Cowboys as one of the biggest threats for the Eagles. I put them right there with the 49ers. I don't believe in Detroit just yet. And it's not a knock on Detroit. It's just Detroit hasn't been in the big moment yet. They're still an ascending team. They're like where the Eagles were in 2021. The Cowboys, on the other hand, we see them twice a year, every year. We know what the Cowboys are. They're a dangerous team. They're a team that comes up small in the big moments, but they're still a dangerous team. So I'm shocked at how many people are anti-Dallas being a threat to the Eagles. KC doesn't look very scary. I don't know how KC is 7-2. They haven't looked like the typical Kansas City Chiefs. Their offense isn't as humming along, just dominating teams as much as we think. Their defense is playing better. That's a step up for them. But I don't get, how KC is just led by one of the greatest coaches of all time and one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, and both are true statements. So when you've got the greatest of greats at the helm leading your team, it is what it is. I wouldn't put, you look at, we talking about Sam Howell leading the NFL in passing, but his offensive coordinator, Eric Bieniemy, came from Kansas City, and Kansas City's offense has sputtered at times this year without Eric Bieniemy. Is that a tip of the cap to Eric Bieniemy that maybe he's a really solid offensive coordinator? I don't know. Just something I'm throwing out there. Just an idea. I love the hate Philly gets. It tells you something. Yeah, I mean, I love it too. And look, I started the show off. I mentioned the Sixers are getting some love right now. The Sixers are number one in the NBA.com, so the official NBA power rank. Joel Embiid, Eastern Conference Player of the Week this past week, when going 4-0. So maybe the tides are turning in our favor there. But yeah, the Eagles are getting no love. The Eagles are getting no respect about being 8-1 in a league that 20 teams have 4, 5, or 6 wins. This is going to be one of those years where a 9-8, a couple 9-8 teams might make the playoffs, which is sad. Do you think McDermott needs to be fired? McDermott comes from the Andy Reid, Jim Johnson coaching tree. Look, I don't know what Man Chatter. I think Man Chatter is going to say yes, especially after last night. How your team is so undisciplined that you have a 12-man on the field penalty called on a field goal that is missed, then gives the other team an extra chance and 5 closer yards to lose, and then they make it. I mean, that right there. If Buffalo wasn't in the thick of a playoff hunt, like, that's a fireable offense right on the spot. Letting that happen is so lack of discipline whatsoever. Kansas City has no wide receivers. Well, they haven't had a wide receiver in a few years. They didn't have a wide receiver last year. It's been, 2 years since they've gotten rid of Tyreek Hill now? So, what was the excuse last year? Or where were the wide receivers last year? That's all I'll say about that. But still, Kansas City's finding a way to win games because they're Kansas City. They're the Chiefs. They got a great coach, one of the best of all time, and they got one of the best quarterbacks of all time. So it doesn't matter if you got wide receivers or not. You still got the best quarterback, and you got the best tight end. So it's rough because I really like McDermott. People do like McDermott, and I've heard that before. That's not the first time I've heard people say that. But at some point, you got to realize it's time to turn the page. And Buffalo definitely needs to turn the page. I also remember Bills being terrible forever. So and this is an interesting because we've come across this before in Philly plenty of times. With the Eagles, with the Sixers, with the Phillies. Would you rather be at, like, this was the Andy Reid thing in Philly? We were always making the playoffs, but we could never get to the Super Bowl. And the one time we did, we lost. But we were always good under Andy Reid. Is it better to just be good every single year, and maybe you get lucky and go on a run, or make a big move, change your coach, and maybe that could turn the tides in your favor? It could also backfire massively. So I think it's a really interesting point here. Being terrible for a long time can happen if you move on from a very successful coach. It's very, very possible. I think this is a great comment from Manchetta that relates to Philly sports a lot. It really does. It's bad. Need to fire Ken Dorsey. I know a lot of people are calling for Ken Dorsey in Buffalo today. And maybe it happens. Who knows? Casey's best wide receiver is Rashee Rice. Who? Who? Ray Rice is back in football? Who? I don't even know who Rashee Rice is. He is offense coordinator because he is Josh's buddy. They need to start taking Allen's stuff. Look, like, I don't know about who's buddies and whatnot. There's obviously a lot of frustration coming out of Buffalo this morning, without a doubt. But it just shows again how average the NFL is. Good morning, Reality Check. How you doing this morning? Hope you're well. We're talking all things, but we're going to get into here who's the biggest threat of the Eagles in the NFC. But I think the whole opening part of this show, talking about Buffalo, Denver, and all these other teams in the NFL, and just how generally average the NFL is this year, I don't know if it takes away from this tough part of the schedule. Maybe it's not as tough as we think, because every one of these teams we're about to face, every one of these teams that might beat the Eagles, have some pretty bad losses on this. Hell, even the Eagles' one loss was a bad loss. Losing to the Jets team, who is below average and has a terrible quarterback, that's a bad loss. There is no team in the NFL this year that doesn't have a bad loss on their record. There's some teams that don't have good wins on their record, but there's no team that hasn't had at least one bad loss. The Eagles may crap up one more out of nowhere. It happens, but the only team that is at their level is the Chiefs. Yeah, I agree to that to an extent. Good morning, everybody saying hello. K1, what's good? Everybody just chit chatting, small talking in the comments. Quarterback is your franchise. The Eagles surrounded by players and coaches that are Hurts' friends, like Josh Allen. Yeah, I mean the offensive coordinator has known Jalen Hurts since he was in diapers. Wide receiver AJ Brown and Jalen Hurts are best friends since high school. Yeah, there are a lot of friends on this team. So it does work out that way sometimes, and it does work for the positive. All right, so let's put this poll I ran up on the screen here, and let's start discussing the results. And this was only one day so far. This poll, not even a full day. I put it out 12:04 or 12:40 yesterday, so less than 24 hours. This poll's been up. It's got over 400 votes, 407 votes so far, and it's a pretty simple question. Who is the Eagles' biggest threat in the NFC? The 49ers, the Cowboys, the Lions, or other? I did have one person comment the Seahawks somewhere down there in the poll. I'm not sure, but you can clearly see almost 55% of the people that voted for the 49ers in this poll. And you can see less than 20%. The Cowboys, out of the three named names, got the least amount of votes, which is pretty shocking to me because I would kind of want to vote for the Cowboys in this situation. Just as much as I don't believe the Lions yet. I don't trust them. But I thought the 49ers and Cowboys would be much closer, maybe like 35-30, somewhere in that range. So the team the fan base, which most of my followers are made up of Eagles fans, you know, most of them are scared the most of the 49ers, which to me, what that does the most is put a big asterisk next to that 49ers game in a few weeks. Not because it's must win, not because anything, but because of that game will be our biggest measuring stick in the NFC. You don't want to give the 49ers any confidence going into a playoff meeting against us that they can beat us. You don't want to give the 49ers any more confidence that they do belong. You don't want to give anybody else, a reason to say, well, the 49ers beat them, so they are beatable. I think it's a very interesting how this poll has shook out. I agree, and I see K1. I'll get to all the comments in a second. I see on my side screen K1 saying go Niners slightly, but this poll is not showing slightly. This is showing a heavy domination. And like I said at the bottom of the question, correct answer is no one should be the biggest threat. And there's a lot of comments here, like Mr. Crockpot saying the Eagles. This person saying Detroit. This one saying Eagles biggest threat. A lot of people think the biggest threat to the Eagles is actually the Eagles. And I think that that's a very fair comment and a very fair opinion on it, that there is no team that can beat the Eagles. Only the Eagles can beat themselves. Only the Eagles can continue to be sloppy with the football and turn the football over. Only the Eagles can give up 300 and 400-yard games to guys like Sam Howell. So is it really as simple as the Eagles during this bye week get healthy, clean up their mistakes, and no one is a threat to the Eagles? Is there a chance that that is the correct answer? No one is a threat. Let's get to some of these comments here. What's up, Bucci? Eagles should have interest in JPP. I've seen a few people comment that. I don't know if he's got any more than Derek Barnett left in the tank. Maybe it couldn't hurt. You can never have too many veterans, on the team, especially veterans that can get after the quarterback. I feel a big game coming soon. Call it. Can it be against KC after the bye week? Let's see. So you see a big game, a statement game coming from the Eagles, and it could be. And it's hard to say coming off the bye, Monday Night Football in Kansas City, Super Bowl rematch. It's hard to say that, but I could see it being the 49ers the following week, or the Bills. I can see that being the big statement win for the Eagles. Kansas City, I can't see it being a big game, like a big blowout game, because both teams coming off a bye. Both teams are the best teams in football. It's going to be a hard hitting, probably lower scoring game than people realize. Niners from Bucci saying they're the biggest threat. Mad Chatter saying Lions, good day. Look, I don't know how to feel about the Lions. I'd go Niners slightly. I already said that. Liam was singing Phil's praises yesterday? Was he? I love Liam. Liam's a great guy. Well, listen, I can't stay long, but everyone tells me I should be worried about the next 2 games. But after last night, I'm not. The Madden curse still lives. This is a funny comment because it is the Madden curse again. Josh Allen on the Madden curse, or maybe Josh Allen was just never that good. Maybe that's part of it as well. That was quick reality check. Yeah, well, reality check. It just takes 2 seconds, and you get your reality check. It's all right. It's all right. Not everybody can watch an hour and a half every single day. That's why I give this 90 minutes every day, so everybody can come and go as they please. Um, you know, uh, I might. I think I messaged. I think reality check asked me to be on his channel. I don't even remember. I gotta Google search my messages. I told somebody I'd be on their show tomorrow night. Was it you, reality check? I think it was actually. I might be doing somebody's show tomorrow night at 6:30. Who is the top 5 quarterbacks in the NFL right now? Well, it's Jalen Hurts, Patrick Mahomes. But see here, missed it. Before I even answer this, you got to say top 5 right now just for this week, or top 5 over the rest of the year, or top 5 going over the next 5 years. CJ Stroud's got to be in the conversation, the top 5, but obviously Hurts and Mahomes are your top 2 guys. And then after that, it's a crapshoot. Trevor Lawrence, Lamar Jackson, C.J. Stroud, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow. Every week you go and you could put Dak Prescott in that conversation. You could put Jared Goff in that conversation. Jurgens should be back on Monday night for sure. Robbie, I haven't heard anything from the Eagles on Braden Robbie, Joe. But Braden Robbie tweeted something out during the bye week that yes, he was responding to a fan saying he would be back this week. Um, okay, it is. Yes, I will be on. Sometimes people send me messages and requests, and I kind of forget. I know there's something in the back of my head. And I have a notification set up, so it would have reminded me tomorrow. But yes, I will be on the Reality Check show tomorrow night. We'll be doing that. Stay tuned. If you follow me on Twitter, you'll get the notification. I think as Eagles fans, we are worried about the big payback from the Niners. We decimated that team, embarrassed them, and destroyed them. Yeah, we're worried about that. Let them have it. Let them have their revenge in the regular season. I don't really care about the regular season in that sense. Um, it's the same reason why, though, Peanut. I've said that this is not a revenge game for the Eagles versus the Chiefs. That was last year. This year's different. Getting revenge of a team that you beat or lost to in the playoffs the next year in the regular season is meaningless. The only revenge would be like the Eagles getting revenge on the Chiefs would be beating them in the Super Bowl. The 49ers getting revenge on the Eagles would be knocking us out of the playoffs. A meaningless game in week 12 of the NFL season and an NFL season that is meaningless this year, to me, I don't worry about that. The payback. Let them have the payback if they want. It is what it is. I realize they lost, but Lamar Jackson finally shaking off Madden curse. Yeah, I was ready to I put Lamar Jackson, the Ravens, number 2 in the NFL last week. And then you go out there this week and they lose. It just goes to show every week anybody can win. I mean, the Browns are even a good team. They have terrible offense. Deshaun Watson stinks, but their defense in Cleveland is fantastic. And they shut down a potent Ravens offense. So anybody can win on any given week right now, except the Eagles are winning every single week right now. And that's what's special. Robbie is practicing. Yeah. Yeah, we'll learn more. I don't know. This week being a Monday Night Football game, the practice schedule might be a little different. But we would normally get our first practice report on Wednesday, injury report. I don't know if that'll change this week being a Monday night game or not. But I would assume Robbie is back. Cam Jurgens is the one that I'm hoping is back for sure. Um, they have Bills old running back and really old wide receiver Robert Woods, Nico Collins, but CJ does not have much at all. Yeah, and he's still putting up numbers. He doesn't have much, but he's putting up numbers. Good is up, Eric. How you doing? Everybody's going to say hello to you in the comments now. Almighty Core 12 in the house. So anyway, so this is where the poll's at, and I'm going to pull the poll off as we continue to talk about this. But we're up to 400. We gotten 2 more votes, and the Cowboys have gone up in the poll. They went from 19 something to 20. So they must have gotten 1 or 2 more votes there, the Cowboys, which is interesting. But I'm going to pull this off the screen here. Put my pretty face back up there for all you. But I'm still thinking about about how to answer this question properly. Is it one of those 3 teams, the Cowboys, the Lions, the 49ers, that are our biggest threat to getting back to the Super Bowl? Because it doesn't matter. how many wins we have. The goal is to get back to the Super Bowl. The expectations. It's not just the goals; it's the expectations. The expectations are to get back to the Super Bowl. It's not like we're sneaking up on anybody. It's not like we're exceeding expectations this year. This is what we expected. And is it one of those teams that scare us, or is it simply we scare ourselves that we can only beat ourselves? Niners have CMC, Debo, and a very good D, so they get the edge. And yeah, and look, I don't want to play into the excuses of 49ers fans. I don't. But last year's game could have played out differently if Brock Purdy and every other quarterback does not get hurt, and if they don't have to put CMC in at quarterback for pretty much half the game. Actually, I think Debo was out in that playoff game as well, wasn't he? Maybe I don't even remember. They have a very good D. They do. But I'm gonna do something here. For you bring up the 49ers first, giving them the slate edge, so I'm gonna pull this up. Let's look at the 49ers schedule. They beat a very mediocre Steelers team week 1. They barely beat a Rams team week 2. They beat the Giants, who doesn't? They beat the Cardinals, who doesn't? They smoked the Cowboys. That's a huge win for them. 42-10 over the Cowboys. That's a big win. Then they lost to the Browns. They lost to a not very good Vikings team. They lost to the Bengals. So they went there. They've had, I guess, the Cowboys and the Jaguars win. They've had 2 good wins this year. They've had some bad losses this year. If you look at losing to the Vikings or Browns, you might consider them bad losses. So the question is, how good really are the 49ers if they're losing those games like that? If they're losing to the Vikings, shouldn't we be able to beat a team that lost to the Vikings? You know what I mean? They really they're inconsistent. There is a game plan to beat them. Keep the ball out of their hands keep the ball out of CMC's hands. Debo's been banged up most of the year. Find a way to manipulate that defense, to beat that defense, which there are teams that have put up. Let's see let's see their defense, man. They haven't they haven't given they gave up 23 to the Rams. Outside of that, they haven't given up more than no, their losses. I'm looking at them backwards here. Yeah, they gave up some points in some of those losses too. But their defense is really solid. Called "Walk into the Super Bowl." Your threat is Kansas City. I don't like to say that "walk into the Super Bowl" because that it's any given Sunday. It can happen. Cowboys ain't Timothy. Yeah, Eric, I gotta disagree. I still think the Cowboys are a very good team. They're not a great team. They're not on our level. But at any given Sunday, they could win a game. They could beat the Eagles. They could. Phil claim he never wants to see a quarterback get hurt. That goes triple for. Yeah, I don't want to see anybody. I don't want to see any player get hurt in any sport ever. Why would I? How would you feel of an NFL division reset? Reset the divisions and put teams in their respective area. Yeah, no, that would take away the Cowboys rivalry from the Eagles. I get why, and I get that whole thought process. It would help with travel for sure. It would create new rivalries. And I guess eventually over time you get used to it. It happened in baseball. When I was a kid, the Pirates were in the Phillies division, and the Pirates during the early Barry Bonds, Bobby Bonilla, Doug Drabeck World Series run, they were one of our biggest rivals right there with the Braves. Then they did realignment in baseball, and the Pirates left our division. And I got over that eventually, and we created new rivals with the Marlins and whatnot. But I don't think it's necessary. I think it's just I don't think it's a big deal to even worry about that. It really isn't. If anything, I would just do away with divisions, just have 2 conferences. That way you don't have to worry about, a 3 seed having a lesser record than a wild card team, at some point because the division winner, gets in. Just have the 7 best teams make the playoffs every year. Um, you could, yeah, maybe that would be what I would do. I don't know. You're catching me off guard with that question. I wasn't prepared. Didn't have a prepared answer. Honestly, you hit the nail on the head. We scare ourselves. I'm afraid of our untouched potential. Imagine if we clicked on all cylinders. And I think this is an interesting comment. I want to get back to this in a second. I want to catch up on. No, there's not too many. So I'm not too far behind. See, everyone keeps saying, Peanut, that this team hasn't played a complete game. This team hasn't peaked yet. This Eagles team, whatnot. Like exactly what you say here. Imagine if we clicked on all cylinders. What if we have actually clicked on all cylinders? And this is just the max our team is. Everybody is comparing what our success is this year to how we accomplished that success last year. There was no way the Eagles offense was going to put up the numbers they put up last year. There was no way Jalen Hurts was going to have 7 turnovers over 17 games like last year. There was no way the Eagles team was going to stay healthy like last year. That was that no team puts up those kind of numbers regularly. No team stays that healthy regularly. So I think everybody's saying that this team hasn't clicked on all cylinders yet might just not be real. They're just comparing it to 2022, and that's just not going to happen again. So maybe there's a little bit of that to it. I don't know. Just my thought. I could be wrong on that. 49ers beat Lions, in your opinion. On a neutral field, in San Francisco, yes. In Detroit, maybe not. On a neutral field, it'll be if it was a neutral field, just say it was the Super Bowl 49ers Lions, obviously can't be. I would put it like at a 2.5 point 49ers line. In San Francisco, I'd only put it at 4 or 5 point line. In Detroit, I might make it a pick'em game. It's really close. Really, really close. Detroit's a very well coached team. They've got some flaws on their team, but they are a very well coached team. Not afraid to run the ball, not afraid to smash mouth you. They got a great young tight end in Sam Laporta, among Ross St. Brown. Jared Goff is a great, underrated, not great, underrated quarterback in the NFL. Isn't the Niners the same team we stopped a mudhole in last year? I'm not worried. Our offense is Fred Warner's kryptonite. You might be right on that. You might be. I haven't heard such talk. That's interesting. Yeah, I've seen a few people mention the realignment. A few people just talking about the Cowboys not supposed to be in our division. Bird will bite it one more time against a random team. Yeah, we might. We're not going to go 16-1. It's just not going to happen. Phil's baseball story made me so bored for like 20 seconds. Stop. Get out. Now you're forcing me to talk more baseball. You insult my sport, America's pastime. I'm going to make sure we talk more of it. Also, we should cut down our division games just 1 game a year, not 2. That way we could play 4 other teams a year. I don't know. I like playing the division games. I do. I like having 2 against Washington and 2 against the Giants every year, especially right now. I can't lie. But, it is what it is. When NFL goes to 18 games, some resorting is possible, I guess. And we've had this conversation on the show plenty of times that the NFL will go to 18 games at some point, whether it's a year or 2 from now, whether it's next CBA up in 2030 or whatever. There will be an 18-game schedule eventually, and there'll be a 2 bye-week schedule eventually. They say Jalen Carter shoplifting in Center City. Fat boy got to eat. Yes, this is on the agenda. Let's dive into it. Did Jalen Carter shoplift? Did Jalen Carter not shoplift? I am having trouble believing that this is a true story, mister. Now, I know some retired police officer that a lot of people respect and follow on social media called this out. But yet nobody from the Eagles, Adam Schefter, none of the big name, no Woj bomb got dropped that this is a true story. The Eagles haven't addressed it. Now they're coming off the bye, so they didn't meet with the media yesterday. But I got trouble believing that this is a true story. But even if it isn't true, this is fun. Who hasn't tried to sneak a bag of Skittles into their bag in the self checkout? Who hasn't tried to walk out? You put something underneath your cart. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot that was down there. It happens. I'm pretty sure Jalen Carter wasn't trying to steal $20 of groceries from Target. If it is true, it is the biggest, whatever. It's going to be something if it is true, it's going to be blown out of proportions because of Jalen Carter history and his troubled history. It's going to get blown out of proportions because it's the Eagles, it's Philly, and it's a crime-ridden city. I don't know if it's a true story or not. I really don't. But wouldn't it be just par for the course for the Eagles that something like this would come out and just prove that the bye week is just no good? It's just trouble happens in the bye week. Phil, how would you like to see Swift? We'll get back to this in a second. Because I got thoughts on DeAndre Swift. I would like to see him utilized differently for sure. Purdy still has nightmares of Son Reddick. A lot of people in the NFL have nightmares of Hassan Reddick. Why are you shoplifting when you make millions of dollars? I, he wasn't If it was true, it wasn't shoplifting. It was just an accidental. Sometimes you go scan stuff and you just drop it in your bag and it doesn't scan. It happens, man. He wasn't trying to shoplift. He wasn't even the one ringing up the groceries. He was probably pushing the cart back to the cart rack as a good man should do, and she was bagging it up. And shit happens, man. It is what it is. Rest me. I've done it. I mean, I honestly don't know if I've ever done it. Um, Maybe I would have thrown some oysters in there because they're pretty expensive, not Skittles. I haven't, Phil. That's stealing. Yeah. Yeah. You're stealing my heart by lying there. Liam coped to stealing an Xbox controller last night. What? Call the police. Hold on. What's the police called in call Scotland Yard? Well, no, that's Scotland. I'm trying to think of what to call them. Call somebody. He's a stealer. I've lost all respect for my boss. Carter did not shoplift. His girlfriend accidentally did scan a few things. And yeah, exactly. It's going to be a big deal made out of nothing. Of course, because it is the Eagles. And again, nobody of importance. And I know that Dan Cliveman or Don Cliveman, whatever his name is, I don't even know if he's a legit source. He's the only bigger account to report on this. And nobody's even picked up on his report. So I don't believe that this is a true story. Yes, Liam is a criminal. I'm going to make sure I'm writing this down. We're going to tag this moment in the show, and we're going to put this back up on the screen. And he's going to tell Liam, what kind of respect? What are you showing of the brand of Philadelphia Sports Network if this is a true thing? I'm sure Carter can afford the bail. Yeah, exactly. I'm not worried about it. I'm not. I want to get back to the DeAndre Swift question. Um, Scotland Yard isn't okay. See, I'm learning. I don't know my UK at all. No clue. So maybe that's who they should be calling Scotland Yards. I don't know. No clue there. Since he could easily buy them all, it's just for excitement. He didn't do it though. He didn't do it. Side note: don't know if you know this, but Jake Elliott is a huge golfer. The only other golf guy I know is you. That is completely like where did that even come from, Peanut? Like that is so far left there. I don't even know. I want to get back to this question here, up here. Where is it? Let's pull it up. Eric here with the fire comment. How would you like to see Swift utilized? First and foremost, we got to stick to him. First and foremost, how he's utilized, I really hope I'm right in saying that the running game has suffered since Cam Jurgens went down. And Cam Jurgens being back on Monday night against Kansas City um, will open up more holes in this running game. I'm really hoping that. So I've been saying that. I've been preaching that. I've been talking that point that no one else is talking about. That is why the running game has suffered. And you know what's crazy is that he's still, I don't know, well, going into this week, he was still the third highest runner, rushing yards in the league going into this past week. I don't know if that held up this week or not. And he's been barely utilized the last few weeks. I need to see more DeAndre Swift. I need to see him touching the ball 18 to 20 times a game, 12, 14 runs. And this is something that I don't think I talked about Dallas Goedert being out and how his touches in the passing game could go to Julio Jones. You might actually see a little bit more DeAndre Swift in the passing game now that Dallas Goedert isn't there. He can line up as wide receiver. He can line up in the slot. Hell, you might be able to line him up near the line of scrimmage and chip block people. He's not known for his blocking, but he could. I want to see DeAndre Swift unleashed. I do. I want to see him be a focal point of the offense in a game. Now, Kansas City, I don't know their numbers against running backs. I haven't dove into the deep stats yet. But I think this is a stretch of games where we're going to need to utilize DeAndre Swift more coming up. The police over there are called Bobbies, or however you spell. Oh, the Bobby. Call the Bobbies. Yeah, I wouldn't know that. Interpol needs to pick up Liam. Yeah. I actually, funny side story, man, chatter on this. Really funny story. And everybody stay tuned. You got to listen to this story. This is a true story. So one day at this pizza shop, we've been open over like 15 and a half years. We're talking like a year or two into our opening. And this really shady guy came into the pizza shop late at night one night. And he was a foreigner. I don't know if he was Middle Eastern or Middle European. I don't know. I don't remember where he was from exactly, but he was definitely had an accent, and English wasn't his first language, and he was just shady. And he kept talking about how he was cleaning out the business across the parking lot for them. I was like, all right, whatever. He paid his food, whatever. And back then the customer's name would print on the credit card slip. So I ran his credit card, saw his name, so I Google searched his name. And as soon as I Google searched his name, the top 10 wanted list on Interpol popped up, and he was one of the top 10 most wanted people by Interpol. I am not lying. It showed his face, and it was 110% him. So the top 10, one of the top 10 most wanted people, he was a scam artist, and he would literally clean businesses out and take all their stuff, steal from them, and leave, was wanted. The next day, a police officer came in. I showed the police officer the name. She canceled her lunch order, got in her car, and took off, and I never heard anything about it again. But one of the most wanted people at Interpol was in my pizza shop in little old Kennett Square cleaning a business overnight. And then I never heard anything about it again. I don't remember his name. I don't remember anything about him. But he was on Interpol for scamming and for that kind of stuff. That is insane, random, have no idea how it happened, but it happened. So Interpol, you know, that's interesting, man. England is called the Metropolitan Police, or the Met for short. Gotcha. Will we see an emergence of Nolan Smith? I don't think we will, Joe. Nolan Smith is kind of in that N'Kobe Dean role last year behind somebody else. He's behind Hassan Reddick. Nolan Smith is behind, I know people don't like to hear it, Derek Barnett. He's behind a lot of guys. He's behind Brandon Graham. Saw a few more snaps last week or the last game before the bye, but not much more from Nolan Smith. Nolan Smith is here for the long run. He's not here for this year. Um, so I don't see much more coming out of Nolan Smith this year. I know it's not something people want to hear, but that's just my opinion. I have Walmart deliver tons of food I didn't order with my orders. When I call to report, they say keep it. Um, okay, I would keep it too. I won't even waste my time calling. Maybe start using the running back screen game. I agree. We haven't seen the running back screen game effectively used in Philadelphia since probably LaShawn McCoy or Brian Westbrook was here last. I don't know. Was Darren Sproles utilized enough in the screen game? Maybe he was too. Stores save tons of money with self-scan kiosks. Well worth it despite the Carters and Liam stealing. And my Skittles, pretty much. Story getting good. I think it was a good story. Cleaning them out. Yeah, exactly. I don't know how, but I helped catch probably one of the 10 most wanted people from Interpol. What is up, Mitchie Pooh? Just making fun. You like the new thumbnail? Got to shout out Brian Cameron from Flipping the Birds. We're building a consistent thumbnail for all the shows on Philadelphia Sports Network as the shows start to grow on the channel, having one constant theme in the thumbnails. Check out my thumbnail this morning. I got to shout out Brian Cameron for that. And you couldn't catch the dude who broke out of minimum security. What's up with that? I didn't have to catch anybody. I caught the guy that robbed me when my pizza shop was robbed. I took him down. He went to jail for 18, 19 months. Don't worry. Nobody's getting away from me. I didn't know he was wanted when he came into my pizza shop, the Interpol guy. Anyway, back to the Eagles. Back to what we're talking about here. If you want to put Sixers into the conversation today, they've got another big game against the Indiana Pacers tonight, the home and home game. Actually, a home game again tonight. So back-to-back home games against the Pacers. That's interesting. The Sixers might be without Joel. They're going to be out without Nicholas Batum, still without Kelly Oubre. If you want to talk about the importance of tonight's Sixers game to keep this momentum going, they got a back-to-back against Indy tonight and then Boston tomorrow night. How important it is for the Sixers to keep the momentum going and beat Boston again, I think it is very important. The money the stores lose on honest human errors at self-scanners has to be substantial, but it's offset by not having to pay a worker. Yeah, I mean, like I don't love self-checkout. I don't hate it though. Um, it is what it is. Now the Walmart by my store only has like one or two lines open on a good day, and everything else is just self-checkout. There's definitely saving them. Yeah, it's Mitchy Poo. It's always Mitchy Poo. Forever. The King's Guard don't talk, smile, or blink, and they knock over old ladies when they march. Are you talking about the video I saw floating around social media yesterday of some guard marching and he just literally curb stomped over somebody that got in his way? There was literally just a video of this circulating X or Twitter or whatever yesterday. Carter shouldn't have to pay for food. He absolutely should. No offense. If Jalen Carter comes into my pizza shop, he's paying for his pizza. He can afford it. No gifts in this game. They have not said how long Kelly Oubre is out for. First and foremost, Kelly Oubre, the person's lucky. Kelly Oubre, the person it's good that he's okay. I saw a picture of him in his hospital bed. His arm looked like they haven't talked about his arm. They just talked about the broken ribs, but his arm was in a sling. There were a lot of bandages on him. Um, they said they will reevaluate him in about a week's time, at least on the rib part of it. It's just a scary situation what happened with Kelly Oubre. And, I've never been hit by a car, obviously, but I've been in plenty of bad accidents. Well, not plenty, a few very bad car accidents. It's scary. It's scary, man. So, we're lucky that he's okay. He's lucky he's okay. His family's lucky he's okay. I would guess he's going to miss at least a month, 3, 4, 5 weeks, something like that. But that's just ballpark in it. That's not I don't have a medical degree, so I don't know. That's just a guess on my part. No Batum tonight, and Joel Embiid is questionable left hip. I don't think he's got left hip soreness, Mitch. I just think they know they got a back-to-back game tonight and again tomorrow against Boston. They want Joel to play against Boston. You're already without Oubre and Batum tonight. Tonight just smells like a Mo Bamba night. You're going to get Mo Bamba the starter minutes, Paul Reed off the bench. That's just tonight is what that's screaming. Knowing that the Boston game, big picture is probably a little bit more important for their reputation. That this is just an easy game for them to give him his first. He's played all 9 games to start the year. This is a great opportunity for them to give him a day off. So that's just what to me. That's what that says, Mitch. That's just what I am reading it as. I'm glad he's okay and glad Morey can't trade him. Again, and that sticking to the Sixers, I don't want Morey making any more trades. I don't want Morey making any more moves, period. Just let this team breathe and let's save those for the next GM, those assets. Phil would be like, your money no good here, Mr. Carter. No, if Jalen Carter walked into my pizza shop, he's paying double. He got the money. I'm not gifting him a pizza. I don't care. Unless he's going to say he's going to stay for a few hours and sign autographs so I can rack in some customers. I ain't giving anybody no free pizza. Nobody gets anything for free. If he wants $1 off his pizza, maybe I would consider. But he paying for his pizza. I ain't giving nothing away for free. It's the in-season tournament tonight. Oh my God, I forgot about the in-season tournament. So maybe he's not sitting tonight. Maybe he'll sit tomorrow against Boston. That NBA in-season tournament, Mitch. It's so dumb. I don't get it. Some teams have played multiple tournaments. Like every game isn't a tournament game. Like I just don't get what's the point of the in-season tournament. It makes 0 sense. It's literally pointless. Respect. That's right. Respect. Show me some respect. Why don't some people show me some respect? You can all show me some respect by hitting the like button. We're at 15 likes on YouTube, 4 on Facebook. A little liking would show me some mad respect. Come on, Phil, you'd be talking about that pizza for weeks. I would. And I'd be talking about how I charged him double and got away with it because he can afford it. I don't give away. I had BB King order from my pizza shop once when he was in town for a concert. And he ordered multiple times because he thought our wings were great. He didn't get anything for free, BB King. BB King paid for his stuff. Damn straight. Why give anything away for... Exactly. Nothing in life is free. Nobody's giving me anything for free. No one's giving you anything for free. So why do the athletes that got all this money have to get stuff for free? In hopes that maybe they shout you out on your social media platform? Stop. Nobody getting anything for free from me. Period. Ever. Because nobody's giving me anything. In-season tournament is cringe. I just don't understand the point of it. Like, if you're going to do an in-season tournament, should all the games in a row just be the in-season tournament? Instead, they're like spread out. Some games are tournament games, some aren't. Like, I don't get it. Like, the NBA is botching this for real. No Core 12 treatment for Carr when it comes to Phil. He don't even wrench up. No, even the Core 12. I told you, I give you all $1 off if the Core 12 comes in. And that's about it. I think we make great wings. Almost all our sauces are made in-house. We got good wings, man. And BB King was a huge fan. Phil charged BB King and Lucille. Damn straight I did. I didn't know it was really him the first time we delivered. It said BB King on the caller ID. I just thought it was a joke or whatever. Um, but then when the delivery driver came back with all these autographed pics and things like that, I'm like, what do you got there? And he showed me. He's like, who? And my delivery driver said, who's this? And I dropped to the floor. And then he called back and said, can I get more? I want some more wings. They were really good wings. I'm like, yeah, absolutely. You know, that's terrible. It's BB King. Well, BB King ain't around anymore. Didn't he pass away? I'm a huge BB King. The BB King Eric Clapton live CD. Yes, CD we're talking about. I don't remember where it was from or when the concert was from. I listened to that CD so many times. There was a it was just BB King and Eric Clapton doing a duet CD. Man, it was an amazing, amazing live performance. I wish I would have gotten to see it in person. Two of the greatest of all time, right there. Um, have you ever noticed that the rich and famous get a crap ton of stuff for free? You show up at an award show and they give you a goodie bag that's value of 1,000. Exactly. So why do they need stuff? They can afford to buy that stuff. Give that free crap out. They get all the free stuff, hoping us poor people buy it because the rich person has it. So you advertise. Screw that. I'd rather give free stuff to the poor people and hope the rich people pay for it. Isn't that the way it's supposed to work? I don't know. It drives me nuts. That's not how you say yeah, Phil. Yeah. Um, riding with the king. I always ride with the king for sure. People shouldn't accept things for free in a society. Free stuff destroys the man. We're getting serious in this conversation today. We're getting serious here today. I still listen to Eric Clapton, BB King CD. I don't know where my CDs are. I don't even know if my car does. My Jeep doesn't even have a CD player. I don't think it does. Honestly, I've never even looked. I haven't pulled out a CD in so long, but you know, Duck, what I'm talking about. CD, it's the live one, right? Like that's if I have my CD somewhere, I don't even know where they are. That CD was one that when I had the 10 disc changer would always stay in the 10 disc changer. Um, it's a great CD. I think Bell Bottom Blues is live on that. And I think it was a great performance. I know there's a live Bell Bottoms Blues on some CD that I loved over and over again played. Phil makes a dang good argument. I make a lot of good arguments. You people just don't agree with them all the time. Um, oh, Phil, what did it say? What say? I don't know what you're talking about there. Um, anyway, we're gonna do our for K1. It's hard reset time. You're listening to Trending in the AM right here on Philadelphia Sports Network. We're live, Facebook, YouTube. Make sure you hit that like button, that subscribe button, that follow button. It's free to do it. Still only 15 likes on YouTube, 4 on Facebook. Those likes and shares and subscribes help us out massively as we continue to grow this channel. And make sure you shoot me a follow on all social media platforms at Beard of Knowledge. I'd greatly appreciate it. We're talking Eagles, their biggest threat in the NFC. We're talking Sixers, really tough back-to-back games starting tonight. And we're talking whatever else you want. We're talking Interpol. We're talking stealing from Walmart. We're talking BB King and Eric Clapton. We got it all. We got it all on the agenda today. But let's get back to the comments. Let's get back to it because, yes, K1 loves the hard reset. He does. Gives you a chance to breathe. Gives you a chance to reset for a second. Phil, would you give Jalen Hurts a free pizza? Eric, I would not only give him a free pizza, I would cut it up and feed it to him if he wanted me to. No, Jalen Hurts is paying for his damn pizza too. Nobody getting a free pizza in my pizza shop. Nobody. Nobody's getting a free pizza. No free stuff. Doesn't destroy the society. It's when you expect free stuff, it's when you are a drag on society. That's a fair comment. That's a fair comment right there. Reset, please. Yeah, let's reset off the serious topics. I don't like going serious here. You said reset. It's a reset. Hard reset. Sounds like a rap song or something. Nobody rides for free. That's right. Show needs more macroeconomics talk. This show does not. I will not lie. Two of the lowest scores I got in grades in college were on economics and finance. Hence why I'm probably broke right now. But I definitely struggled to pass those two classes in college. Um, cut it up and feed it to him. You like that, Eric, don't you? Yeah, it'd be like that old Saturday Night Live skit. It was Will Ferrell was in it. It was a Thanksgiving dinner or Christmas dinner, and he would chew the food for his kids and spit it in their mouth. and the kid had his girlfriend over for the first time, and she was seeing it. That's basically what I'm thinking of. You might not know that scene, but in my head, that's what I'm thinking of right now. Um, Jalen Hurts will give you his whole paycheck if you put crawfish on his pizza. There used to be a pizza shop in Louisiana that I would follow. That they had a pretty good looking crawfish pizza, for sure. Phil, are you a Keynesian or Austrian economist? I don't even know what any of that means, K1. So I'm obviously neither. Stop, stop. Fox's Pizza Den, where no one gets a free pizza, would be a dope shirt. I actually might have to make that shirt up. Fox's Pizza, Kennett Square, PA. Make sure you come check me out. I'll be there all day today, 10 to 8. Why not? Come see me. That was a skit. Yeah, do you remember that skit? Like, I remember that skit. It was hilarious. It was what was her name? Julia Margulis, or however you say her name. She was in ER. She was the guest host. So Will Ferrell was still part of the cast. That's how old it is. There were some really legendary Saturday Night Live people in that cast. Um, sorry, but crawfish are river roaches. I said it. I've never had a crawfish before. It's something I've always wanted to try. I love my seafood. I love my shellfish. I've never had a crawfish before, but honestly, I want to try. I see them for sale frozen at the food store in the fish department. I don't know how to cook them, so I haven't bought them ever before. But I would definitely like to give them a little shot there, Peanut. You're obviously anti crawfish, so no crawfish pizza for you. All right, let's get back on track here. Come on, let's get back on track. Talking our Eagles. Why you have all those Ron Paul books if you're not what? There ain't no Ron Paul books back there. Stop looking over my shoulder. No, there is no Ron Paul books back there. Trust me on that. I think Keynesians are the people who go to Kanye West church. That's why Alexis said. Well, that's definitely not me. I ain't going to none of that stuff either. All seafood is basically overgrown insects, to be honest. Man, you guys are not seafood people. I love my seafood. I love my oysters, my mussels, my tuna. Give me a nice seared tuna, rare. You gotta love some tuna. Um, gotta love seafood, my man. I gotta say, I'm a seafood guy. Nothing wrong with a nice crawdad boil. There used to be a place in Westchester called Crawdaddies. It was like New Orleans style cooking, and damn, they didn't last long there. But man, they were some amazing eats at that place, man. Amazing eats. Used to love it. They were weird, the owners, and funky. Like they would charge you extra to split a check. They would charge you extra if you wanted to share a plate. But man, they were so good. I love New Orleans and Southern food, man. Take a few bags of mussels before the game. Tailgate. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if mussels are tailgate food. Not at all, but it is what it is. Seafood is always good. Never a bad time. I love a good seafood boil, man. A little boil with some sausage and some shrimp and some mussels and crab legs, whatever you want to throw in your seafood boil. I love it, man. Nothing wrong with it. Nothing wrong with it at all. Phil needs to sit down with a bowl of good jambalaya and read some Murray Rothbard. Look, I make a great gumbo. We talked about this yesterday, but I make a decent jambalaya as well. I normally wait till Fat Tuesday to make my gumbo and jambalaya at the pizza shop, but man, give me some spicy jambalaya? Absolutely. Give me some red beans and rice? For sure, man. Absolutely. Now I'm hungry. Yeah, I am too. I had 1 egg for breakfast this morning. Now I'm already hungry too. Um, for sure. Um, but don't wait, hold on. What do we got? We're stuck on this, man. A nice New Orleans style gumbo. I don't say my gumbo is authentic. I've never been to New Orleans, but I've done a lot of reading on recipes. I've picked and chosen and watched a lot of videos. I think it's pretty good. Louisiana, it's so hot. People drink hot sauce to cool off. Fact check. Fried gator nuggets. Can't say that I've ever had it. But honestly, if it was at a reputable restaurant, see, I always say, like everybody always says, would you try this or would you try that? I think that pretty much anything I would try food related, as long as I knew it was being prepared at a restaurant that was reputable and doing it the right way. Now I wouldn't have that. What's that fish that like you could die from eating because it's got whatever in it, the blowfish or whatever. I don't know if I'd go that far, um, but I'd pretty much try anything as long as I knew it was cooked properly, for sure. Eagles and Chiefs, the game to end all games. Snacks coming out. I will say, man, Chatter, I hate that it's a Monday Night Football game. It's kind of throwing our whole week off here because we're not leading to a Friday final preview and prediction show. Got to save that for Monday. And then Monday's overreaction, Victory Monday, gets pushed off to Tuesday. It's just throwing all the week off here. Coming out of the bye like that, I don't know. Sriracha is greater than Tabasco. I don't disagree with you on that, K1. Orlando alligator, never had it. Putterfish is deadly. Is that? I know I'm thinking of one that they cut up. Putterfish or blowfish. There's a fish that people eat I don't know if it's Japan or China, that it can kill you. It is it's a low percentage, but if not prepared perfectly, it could kill you if not properly cooked. I know that it exists. I just couldn't remember if it's putterfish, blowfish, whatever it's called. I know it exists out there. But I will say, back to K1's comment, I am definitely annoyed with coming out of the bye on Monday Night Football. This is another week with no football on during the day for Sunday. I hate it. Look, it takes time to set up the show. I wake up early. Monday night, I'm going to be up late for the game. Tuesday, I'm going to be dragging all day. It's just frustrating. I kind of feel like we got screwed with the schedule. Coming out of the bye, going on Monday Night Football, and then having an instant short week right after it. Kind of not fair, honestly, in my opinion. I've kind of said that about the Eagles' schedule a lot, that it's not fair from time to time, but it is what it is. But anyway, let's get back on point. We got about 20, 25 minutes left in the show. Let's bring it back. Let me see. I do have two other things I brought up here. I want to put out there in the conversation. Let me see here. Have I touched on everything? I've touched on Sam Howell's most passing yards, NBA power rankings, giving the Eagles respect. Jalen Carter's been touched on. Joel Embiid Player of the Week, biggest threat, been touched on. Anthony Barr, former Vikings first-round pick linebacker, was worked out by the Eagles yesterday. Now, as soon as he worked out, within minutes, he was signed by a new report was that he signed with the Vikings. So, obviously, he's not coming here. But it goes to show that the Eagles realize the lack of depth that they have at linebacker and that they are making calls. My question to Howie Roseman and Eagles are, why are we working out a guy like Anthony Barr on Monday? Why are we working out a guy like Anthony Barr now when we just had an entire bye week to work guys out so that they could be here ready to go? Anthony Barr was worked out. He did not sign here. Whatever. Why wasn't this done last week when you had a free week? And then if you would have signed him, he would have been able to have a full week of practice. But it does go to show that if they're working out guys like Anthony Barr, who he's not the all-pro guy that he used to be, they don't think Nakobe Dean's going to be back. And if he is, they have no faith in Nakobe Dean when he comes back. They know that they need another linebacker. And yes, I see this comment here. We'll catch up on all the other comments in a second. Yeah, Anthony Barr is not the guy he used to be, obviously. But he could be a depth piece with experience right now on this team. And it just shows that the Eagles realize that there's a problem there. And I think that is the key piece to lean in on there. They realize they need help at linebacker now. Finally, somebody realizes. Did the Eagles make a mistake by not bringing him in last week or bringing anybody in last week so that they're there? You bring somebody in on Wednesday and sign them, and then Thursday they're here. How much time do they really have to get ready for Monday Night Football? You bring them in last week, they have a full week here. Just something to think about. I hate Monday Night Football so much, man. Peanut, as a working guy like you are, I agree. I hate all night games. I hate Sunday Night Football, Monday Night Football, Thursday Night Football. Give me all 1 and 4 o'clock games. And if you want to have an 8 o'clock game, make it on Saturday nights. I've said it 100 times, 100,000 times on this show and other shows. Give me Friday Night Lights. Give me primetime Friday night and Saturday Night Football. They won't compete with high school and college football, but that's what I want. Last week or two of the season, they always bring Saturday night games into the equation. Give me to that all year long. The pizza shop seems like a pretty cool job. It sucks ass. Well, you can't complain about lack of respect when you're on national TV almost every week. That's interesting. Yeah, they did. They do. I think that's less respect and more that national TV knows what draws audiences in. The Eagles-Cowboys 425 game a few weeks ago was the highest rated game of the season in the NFL that wasn't primetime. So they know the Eagles bring in views. Eagles fans watch their team no matter what time it is. Anthony Barr, I don't know if it's desperation. It's the lack of depth that we have at the position. How he was at the beach. He might have been. And I'm okay with people. I know a lot of people were criticizing Travis Kelce for going to Argentina to see his booze concert. Um, People got on Zach Wilson for taking a couple days and going on vacation with his girl, pumpkin patch picking or whatever the hell it was. Like I don't have a problem with players using their bye week to spend time with family and friends. Like that's what it's for. It's a week off. Everybody else gets paid vacation. Why don't athletes? Um, it's fine. But front office personnel still need to be working. Howie jealous at getting starters Josh Norman and Rasul Douglas and Linville Joseph putting in work. Linville Joseph would help this team right now. Barr hasn't been good in 3 to 4 years. Again, I'm not saying he's the fix or an answer. I'm good with Nicholas Morrow and Zach Cunningham. But the problem is, if something happened to Nicholas Morrow or Zach Cunningham, and Zach Cunningham has an injury history, who do we go to? Christian Ellis? Ben Van Summer or something or another? Like, that's it. Friday night. I would love Friday night football. I would. Primetime Philly. Phil is on national television every morning. I wish I was. I don't know. Do I even want to be on that? This is not a face for TV. It's barely a face for YouTube. This face is meant for radio. Or for this. My face is meant for this more so. So you don't actually see my face on a regular basis. That's kind of, what this face is meant for. I hope that didn't screw up the stream by me doing that. I watched my views go up like 300% when I took my face off the screen. Eagles have only 3 off-ball linebackers on the active roster. They have no choice. They have to sign a linebacker. And that's the thing. And I think that the Eagles, that the Anthony Barr workout proves that they realize that finally. The problem is, why weren't they doing it last week? The problem is, why haven't they done it sooner? That's the problem. That's what I question. And that's the only thing I question. Josh Norman is shockingly good. Is he? I mean, he might have been good like 5 years ago. I don't know. Shave the beard with the world. The beard can't go, man. The beard is me. I want to actually get rid of the beard. At least go back to a very short beard or a goatee or something. Are goatees even in anymore? People have goatees. I don't know, but I can't go hairless on the face. I would look like a baby. I would look a little husky, as my grandma used to call me. You would see the little rolls under my chin. Um, Another thing that I want to bring up, and just kind of, it's an off the wall topic that really doesn't really matter, but a topic I don't think people really discuss enough. Hold on, I'll get to that thought in a second. Fun fact: Philadelphia was named after Phil's great grandfather, Philadelphia Lazarus Stiefel. Well, you spelled my last name right, so whoever it is obviously not my relative. Okay, you can't misspell my name, and then on your joke. But nice try. Um, so the Eagles made 2 more practice squad moves yesterday. Okay, I don't even know who they cut some cornerback off their practice squad. They signed some center to their practice squad. Whatever, meaningless moves. And it made me think. And I put a tweet out about it yesterday, and it got a lot of interesting responses. And it was the life of a practice squatter. Is there anything more unforgiving than being like if you're one of the upper echelon practice squad guys, a young developed player, or somebody that's just being used like how he used the practice squad to keep Julio on it for 3 weeks and just elevate him? Unless the way Howie Roseman manipulates the practice squad roster and the amount of moving pieces, I have no numbers. I haven't Google searched this. Um, but the Eagles, what do you get, like 16 guys on the practice squad? I bet you 40 different guys have been on the Eagles practice squad this year. I'm being a little sarcastic there, but a lot. It's got to be so tough to be that fringe guy that some weeks are on the practice squad, some weeks are not. You get cut, then you get picked back up, then you get signed to someone else's, then you get picked back up, then you get cut, then this. Man, is there got to be? I mean, you got to love football to be hanging around practice squads like that. Now they get paid okay, not pro money, but they get paid okay. but there's no job security. You never know if you're ever going to get your chance. I don't know how it works with the NFL pension and stuff like that, whether they get any, post playing career benefits playing on the practice squad. But it's tough. I really feel for practice squad players and what the emotions they go through. And I know it's players. I don't think they make. I don't remember what they make, but it's not bad. But the range of personal emotions you must go through as a practice squad, it's got to be tough. You change the spelling of your last name for showbiz. No, 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 no. My name stays the same. Stays the same. But I'm putting this back up. Look, I know they get paid a decent amount of money. They get paid a few bucks. Let me do this. NFL practice squad salary. Let's see here. It's 9,200 a week they get. So they get 9,200 a week. It's not bad. But they're not on a practice squad guaranteed all, you know, 17, 18 weeks of the season. 9K a week. So if they're on a practice squad, it's 90K for a year. Yeah, it's really good money. But you can't do anything else. You can't. Yeah, I don't know. Like it's just working out and hoping you get your chance. And you're not. I don't know. I feel like the money aspect of his side, the emotional roller coaster of being that level of a football player, constantly packing up and moving to the next city. It's got to be tough. You can't get a place to live. You never know when you're going to get cut from a practice squad so that they can bring somebody else in. It's got to be a thankless job. It's got to be a tough life. It really does. And I just got thinking about it yesterday, and I really thought long and hard about that. You get signed to practice squad. You can claim you played in the NFL. You can name drop for years like Dan Sileo. Was Dan Sileo a practice squatter? God damn. That's pathetic if that's true. They make enough to make it worth their time. They make decent money, sure. But I'm moving more onto the emotional side of it, the lifestyle of it. Overpaid cannon fodder. I'll take that job 100%. Yeah, me and you would take that job. Sure. Up to 200K plus. Up to that. Doesn't mean they're making that. Doesn't mean they're staying on a squad every week. They might be in 3 different cities over the course of a season. And you got to constantly work out not knowing if you're getting another paycheck. Like, I don't know. I don't know. Some guys move around a lot. You need to be young. Exactly. And that's the thing. Like, I bet you there are guys that are on 3 or 4 different practice squads a year. That means 3 or 4 different cities, 3 or 4 different sets of teammates. It is what it is. And I love this. Philly Matt, getting back to the post, the comment, the thought of the day, which is who is the biggest threat to the Philadelphia Eagles? And that is the San Francisco 49ers, of course, according to him. That is what won the poll, or is winning the poll massively right now that we are running. So let's spend the last 10 minutes back on the opening comment of the show, which tomorrow we'll talk more Sixers tomorrow. We'll see how they look against the Pacers. Justin Crosby, it's going to be a regular weekly occurrence, him showing up on the show on Wednesdays talking Sixers for 15, 20 minutes. Or the Lions, honestly. So again, and Philly Matt is another guy that is putting zero concern or fear on the Philadelphia or the Dallas Cowboys. Interesting. I'm really surprised by it. Fox's Den need a practice squad pizza makers. Mad chatter. Yeah, you guys would not last on my practice squad very long. You wouldn't. You wouldn't. The NFL needs a farm league with team affiliates. I've thought of this often, HC, and with the success of the D League, G League, whatever it's called now in the NBA, and how it's grown from just a few teams, where teams shared farm teams in the NBA, to everybody's got their own G League team now. And these guys, they built a freaking stadium in Wilmington for the Delaware Blue Coats. I'm surprised that they haven't started something in the NFL with the success of the NFL. I'm surprised they haven't started to build this. I'm very surprised. And yes, I knew Mad Chatter was going to bring up something like this. The USFL the XFL, all these other leagues are kind of like that, but they're not directly linked. I think at some point, uh, you might see it. The Bills lost your ticket. Philly Matt, no offense. That's your fault for putting Buffalo on your ticket. Um, just saying. I lost my bet last night too, Philly Matt. I had a parlay going. I had Javonte Williams over 55 or 57 yards, whatever it was. Javonte Williams anytime touchdown, and the Bills minus 5.5. And I lost that ticket last night. It was something like 28-1. Put like $6 or $7 on it. It was going to be a big payout. I'm pissed on that one. But that's me and you's fault for knowing that the Bills are frauds, but still betting the frauds anyway. I knew a PS dude from a distance enough to feel bad how much he had to move. Yeah, I see it all the time, man. Um, P. Matt explained. Yeah, I think he just made a ticket, a bet, and he lost it. If I'm an athlete, I'd wait till I retire to settling down. Yeah, man, it's got to be tough. Dallas, although an NFC Championship game with Dallas would be epic at the link, it would be epic at the link. It would be. It would be. NFL farm system is college. I guess. I guess. 76ers are legit, and we have assets to make a move to get closer to a championship. Who do you think Sixers should acquire or what position? Philly Matt, I've said this a bunch of times. This show and other shows, they're not making a move. I don't want to make a move, at least anytime soon. I'm letting this crop marinate together for at least 30 more games. I'm waiting until January, February and seeing. Will they need another shooter off the bench? Maybe. Maybe not. Will they need, you know, somebody that can ball handle off the bench? Maybe. Maybe not. I'm not making any moves right now. This is the deepest, most honest Sixers team we've had in a while. And I'm willing to let it roll like this unless something major happens, a massive injury or something like that. Right now, I'm letting it roll. I'm making zero moves anytime soon with the Sixers. XFL and USFL are defunct as they merge. Yeah, they're merging. Yep, I knew that. I needed the Bills to win money, the last team on a $300 ticket on FanDuel. And we both failed that one. We both lost out on that one. College football is a different game. There are so many players out of college that don't get a chance. NFL can develop all players that don't get drafted and bring in revenue. Exactly. You can bring in a lot of revenue. If the Philadelphia Eagles had a farm team, we'd all watch that too on a regular basis. You can have them play Friday and Saturdays and the NFL on Sundays. I mean, I'm surprised with the growth of the G League that the NFL hasn't formed it. It's all about money. And the Broncos barely won, but the Bills didn't deserve to win. 4 turnovers is ridiculous. If you stayed up till the end, Philly Matt, you are a better man than me. Bills do blow. They do. HC not nearly as different as it was 20, 30 years ago. And it's free. Free. Look, we're going to start the wrap-up process on today's show. We're closing in on 9:30. I don't think we've solved anything in this show. We spent a lot of time talking who's the biggest threat. But I don't think we've ever come to an agreement on what the biggest threat is. We don't know. We don't. And I think the one thing we can all agree on isn't that there's a big threat to the Eagles. It's that the Eagles are their biggest threat. I think that is where the biggest agreement has come. That it's up to the Eagles to find a way to play better football. I really do. I'm not scared of this Bills team. I see a tough win, but a win. Yeah, it's funny. We look at the schedule, and we looked at the schedule at the beginning of the year, and we circled this stretch: 49ers, Bills, 49ers. Well, now the Bills kind of are mid. The 49ers have showed some kinks in their armor. The Chiefs haven't really dominated anybody yet. Maybe this isn't the vaunted part of the schedule we thought it would be. Maybe. Someone big, let's go. I'm always for a big super chat. I'm all for a small super chat. Nick Nurse needs to win Coach of the Year. He unlocks Furcut's potential. Yeah, Nick Nurse. That's right. Chiefs. I am not scared of the Bills at home. Casey is tough, and I don't think we have beaten Seattle. Seattle will be a tough game. Seattle's one of those teams. They're sneaky. They're just hanging around. Mahomes. That may be a health risk. By the time players begin making it to the NFL, they'll be injury prone. That's a fair comment right there, Jason Williams. That is. You know, but it's a risk you'll put your body at to get a chance to play NFL football. Just saying. Korkmaz will be unleashed soon. Korkmaz is getting minutes with the Sixers, man. He is. So the Bears have their first and the Panthers first wild. Um, I'm not sure what that means. So the Bears have their first and the Panthers first wild. I'm not sure what that means. Players get 4 years of college ball. There are so many players out of college that are good, but not good enough for the NFL yet. Farm teams need to happen, if only just for those players. Yeah, nobody wants to play in the USFL or XFL. I mean, they do, but they don't. They want to see the NFL attached to it. The support of the NFL, the the health insurance, the pension, what they can do for their lives by playing on a farm team of an NFL team versus the NFL. They could say they played for NFL, and you don't need 32 NFL farm teams. You can start with 12 or 14 and have teams combine to play or to have guys. That's kind of how the G League, I think the G League started where some teams had 2 protected players on each team. Some teams had 3, teams like piggybacking together. And it's evolved over the years to what it is now. Yeah. I've I've cleaned you out so many times with that one comment. 2 firsts, 2 seconds, and DJ Moore to skip CJ Stroud. That's right. Korkmaz will be moved by trade deadline. Yeah, he's the Turkish MJ, the Turkish bullet, my man. Korkmaz is our Huckleberry. He is. He sure is. Corky needs to go. He's requested a trade. He's requested a trade so many times. Nobody wants him, and the Sixers don't want. Just could you imagine being a basketball player that gets no minutes on a team, but no team wants to trade for, and your team that won't play you doesn't want to trade? Could you imagine? And then once all that happens, all of a sudden you start getting minutes. Could you imagine the mental anguish that someone like Furkan Korkmaz, he thinks he's the Turkish MJ. He thinks he's the Turkish bullet, yet nobody wants him. Phillies need to fire their coach and hire a guy named Nick. It's paying off so far. Yeah, just have a Nick in every single team in our city. Mrs. Phil will adopt. She would take him in a heartbeat. There is no doubt about that. Do you think we struggle a lot without Goddard? Philly Matt, rolling in with the questions here in the last 20 minutes. You would think we would struggle, but don't quote me on this, Philly Matt. But I think we were 5-0 last year in the 5 games he missed. So what does that say? That you can lose your top tight end and still win. I don't know. I would assume we struggle without him, but do we? I don't know. I will say, losing him for 4 or 5 games again this year for the 3rd time in 4 years, where he'll miss a significant stretch of time. Everybody wants to talk about injury-prone players, except for Dallas Goedert. It's okay that Dallas Goedert misses time. It's kind of crazy. Phillies need a new pitching coach, and that's it. They're getting a new assistant pitching coach. Turkish Tatum. He'd command the max in China. Dude, Furkan Korkmaz in China would be dropping 60 burgers every single night, without a doubt. Aqua Bowman season, my guys. Yes, it is. All right. Let's wrap this up, guys. We got to wrap it up. We got to close the show in the comments for the day. Watch Trending in the AM right here on Philadelphia Sports Network. Live Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. for 90 minutes every single day. I'm bringing you a platform to have your voice heard. So make sure you do me that favor. Hit the like button. We're up to 23 YouTube likes, 5 on Facebook. Hit that like, share, subscribe button. It is free to do it. I greatly, 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 greatly appreciate it. You never know what we're going to cover. We covered Liam stealing an Xbox controller. We covered what to call Scotland Yards. We covered crawfish on pizza, BB King, Jalen Carter not getting a free pizza, that I would chew Jalen Hurts' pizza up for him. And, of course, we covered the Eagles and the Sixers today. So we covered a lot. Tomorrow, Justin Crosby. Not sure of the time, but Justin Crosby will be joining us again. Every Wednesday now, he's going to be joining the show. So he'll be joining me for 15, 20 minutes to talk Sixers. We'll cover that. We'll see what else pops up Eagles conversation-wise. Devontae Final Feast, absolutely. Turkish Tatum, yeah, right. He league minimum on any other team. He's getting $5 million a year for the Sixers, I think. Isn't that what he signed? So we're going to wrap it up, guys. Everybody have a great Tuesday. Bundle up. It's cold out there. Come see me at Fox's Pizza. Have a great day. We'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Go Birds!